And we are rolling. Hey guys, it's your buddy Jake Dominguez back with another movie review. Oh boy, where do I begin? Guys, today I'm reviewing one of my most anticipated movies of the year. War for the Planet of the Apes. I've been saying that a lot lately in my reviews. Most anticipated movies. There's been a lot of my most anticipated movies coming out, I'm sorry. And Dunkirk comes out later this week. Oh, I can't wait. But let's concentrate on War for the Planet of the Apes. So War for the Planet of the Apes is the third entry in the reboot of the Planet of the Apes movies. Now we got our, 5 original films, beginning with Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and Battle for the Planet of the Apes, or of the Planet of the Apes. What a bunch of names. In the 70s, a long time ago, they were classic films. And then, about 2011, we got Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And then, 2014, we got Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And now we got this new film, which is the third entry in the reboot series. A little confused? Yeah, maybe. But let's just say that ever since I was a little kid, I've been a huge Planet of the Apes fan. Or to be more exact, I'm a huge fan of the original film. The original Planet of the Apes is a classic. It's a masterpiece. I watched it again just this last week, and I was blown away again by what a great film it is. This film is so influential. It's one of the greatest science fiction films ever made, one of the greatest thrillers ever made. Hopefully I'm going to do a review of this soon. I didn't get a chance to before this video, unfortunately. But I love this movie. All the other films that came after this, and the original kind of run of movies, all the sequels, they're pretty much all really good, with the exception of Battle of the Planet of the Apes, and maybe Beneath. I didn't really like those two very much, but they're all pretty good. In fact, there's a few great ones in there. Conquest and Escape are really fantastic. But they weren't even close to how great this original film was. There was never a Planet of the Apes in the movie that came even close to this classic. Until we got Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That film was a huge surprise. I loved it. I watched it again recently. It still really holds up. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was even better. Matt Reeves came on, and he directed a fantastic film. Now, War for the Planet of the Apes is also directed by Matt Reeves and co-written by him. Matt Reeves is the director behind such films as Cloverfield, Let Me In, one of the most underrated movies ever made. What else has he done? Well, he also was a co-creator with J.J. Abrams on Felicity, that TV show that premiered a long time ago. He's a great filmmaker, really underrated. I've been a fan of him ever since I saw Cloverfield forever ago. And again, Let Me In is one of the best remakes I think ever made. That's a really underrated horror film. But I love Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And I was blown away by what a great film it was. It was the best Planet of the Apes movie since the original that really even came close to matching the original. So I was excited to see War for the Planet of the Apes. And I gotta say, this movie is kind of a masterpiece? Maybe? Am I being too bold in saying that? I think it just might... I'm pretty sure this movie's a masterpiece, guys. How's that for a recommendation? War for the Planet of the Apes is outstanding. It is the best film Matt Reeves has ever directed. It's better than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Definitely better than Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It is the first Planet of the Apes movie. Do I dare say it? I don't want to say it's better than the original. But guys, it's on par with the original classic movie. I'm serious. War for the Planet of the Apes is a great movie. Now, the trailers for War for the Planet of the Apes has done a really good job of not really explaining what the plot is. So I'm not going to say what the movie's about. All I'm going to say is that you should go see it. This film is an insanely great movie. It's beyond just an action or science fiction film. It's a great film, period. Really, War for the Planet of the Apes is a drama with characters, and it's based around tension and suspense and character moments. Now, the title is War for the Planet of the Apes, and don't get me wrong, you want some action? You're gonna get it. You want some suspense? You're gonna get it in spades. And especially all the tension and intensity, all that is there in War for the Planet of the Apes. But the focus is on the characters. It's the focus on Caesar, on some of his friends and the characters that he meets. And it works great. Some viewers may be taken a little back by that. They may just want some endless action. But trust me when I say that this movie is so great. The screenplay is so well written that focuses on atmosphere and character moments with some incredible action and an unbelievable spectacle on there. Now, Andy Serkis returns to play the main character of Caesar in this film. He also plays Caesar in Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Andy Serkis is a genius. He played Gollum in the Lord of the Rings film. He did the motion capture for King Kong and Peter Jackson's remake of King Kong. He's also had some small roles in films like The Prestige and Longford, I think that's what that movie's called. Inkheart. He's been in lots of different films. He's an incredible actor. This is his best role yet. His role as Caesar defines Caesar as one of the best characters in movie history, I think. That's a big statement, but I think I'm right. This guy, I don't know, he deserves an Oscar. That's the big cliche of every time he releases a new movie. But he deserves an honorary Oscar or something, because he's amazing. The motion capture work is an incredible form of acting. I've heard in interviews of people who have done motion capture acting who describe it as very freeing and about how it really helps you to embody the character and that sort of thing. It's really misunderstood. Not that I know what I'm talking about, but it's really misunderstood. Hopefully this film, with the great performances in it from Steve Zahn and Andy Serkis, of course, and all these other actors, shows what a great art form and what a great form of acting it can be. Because Andy Serkis in this film is brilliant. He's brilliant. All the other actors in this film is incredible as well. Woody Harrelson in this film plays the Colonel, the villain in this movie. I won't say too much about it. Again, no spoilers, but he's fantastic. It might be the best role he's ever played in his career. He has one scene, oh my gosh, he has one scene in this movie that's basically just a monologue. And it is brilliant. It is brilliantly written and directed. It's just him acting, giving a speech where he really lays down a lot of the stuff that's going on in the movie. Any other movie from a less mature director or writer or whatever would delete that scene, but it is brilliant. It is intense, and Woody Harrelson's acting is on point. It's brilliant. It's such a brilliant scene. There are a ton more brilliant scenes in this movie that are wonderfully directed, that are visually amazing, but I'm not even going to get there, because you guys just got to see this movie. Honestly, as a lifelong Planet of the Apes fan, and as a fan of movies, this movie gave me everything I wanted. It wraps up the story from the last two Planet of the Apes movies so incredibly well. There's little homages to the franchise, to the original film that I love, but it's mostly its own thing. It really is its own thing. And I loved that. The special effects, this is the best motion capture, just special effects I've ever seen. It makes even the Jungle Book, which came out what was it, last year? It makes even the Jungle Book special effects look dated. I know that's crazy because the animal effects in that film were incredible. But the apes in this movie look real. You don't even think about it. You stop thinking about them as special effects. They just look so incredible, and I can't praise the special effects guys enough for that. I don't know what to say much about this movie, but it's amazing that it exists because it's a summer blockbuster that isn't always easy to watch. In fact, most of War for the Planet of the Apes is kind of bleak. There is a lot of weight to this movie. There is a lot of dark stuff in it. But, dark is an overused word when it comes to movies. Oh, it's so much darker. Empire Strikes Back is better because it's darker than the original, blah, blah, blah. They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, it's dark. But that's not what makes it great. There's a difference between darkness and weight. A great movie needs weight. It's not necessarily that it's darker. Whatever that means. It's weightier. Something could be dark but have no weight and it's just terrible. Okay? That doesn't mean anything if it's dark. Look at that new Fantastic Four movie that came out recently that was so controversial. That's a good example. That thing was tried to be very dark, but it had no weight whatsoever. Therefore, it meant nothing. This film has a lot of weight. There's a lot of tension. You care about all the characters. And it deals with subject matters that aren't necessarily going to be shown in another movie like this. It does it fantastically well. War for the Planet of the Apes is the first Planet of the Apes movie that comes even close to matching the original film. It is a great film, period. It's wonderfully directed and edited and all of that. Filmmaking is amazing in it. Man, I loved this movie, and I'm gonna be honest, I really can't think of any real issues I have with this film. I can't even think of a lot of real nitpicks about it. In the end of the day, this is an amazing film. It completes I think one of the best trilogies ever made. This is a great movie. I'm gonna give War for the Planet of the Apes an A+. That's right, an A+. What can I say? This movie was amazing. If you're not a big Apes fan, if you're not a big sci-fi, thriller, or action guy, I don't know if you love this movie as much as I did, but this movie is truly a great film. Have you guys seen this movie? Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. And of course, never ever ever forget, I am your friend. I'm always going to be there for you. Thank you so much for watching and for subscribing to my channel. You guys are the greatest, and I will see you next time.